How's it going, everyone? It's Ben Foggin's Media Corner back again with a brand new video for today. Welcome back to another movie review, aka After I Saw. This time for this new episode for this series is going to be my review on the 2024 spy action comedy film, and that is Argylle. Now, this film is directed by Matthew Vaughan, director of films such as Layer Cake, Stardust, Kick-Ass, X-Men First Class, and of course the Kingsman franchise. And in this film, we follow this reclusive author named Ellie Conway, played by Bryce Dallas Howard, in which she writes best-selling espionage novels about a secret agent named Argylle, played by Henry Cavill, who he's on a mission to unravel a global spy syndicate. However, when the plots of a book start to convert the actions of a real-life spy organization, the line between fiction and reality begin to blur. So that's pretty much the story of Argylle. Now, this was one of my most anticipated movies for 2024. Like, I was really hyped for Argylle, and there were a lot of reasons why I was so hyped for this movie. One is because this was a new film by Matthew Vaughan, and when it comes to Matthew Vaughan as a director, I think he's a talented director working to this day. Like, he has crafted some very well-made films over the last few years. Like, he did Layer Cake with Daniel Craig, which I really enjoyed that movie, which that one was a crime film. And then he did a fantasy movie called Stardust, which I really enjoyed that one as well. And he has done a few, like, comic book films. Like, he did Kick-Ass, which I had a load of fun with that film. That film was just very fun, yet entertaining, but yeah, very violent as well. And that's why I just really enjoyed that film so much. And he also did one of the installments of the X-Men universe, which was, of course, X-Men First Class, which I had loads of fun with that movie as well. And in most recent years, he has done a few spy action comedies. Of course, he did the Kingsman franchise, which the first movie, The Secret Service, I had loads of fun with that movie. The second movie, The Golden Circle, well, it wasn't as good as the first movie, but I thought it was a decent sequel. And most recently, he did the prequel to the series, which was, of course, The King's Man, which I also thought that was a decent installment to the series as well. So when I heard he was making a new spy action comedy, I was generally really excited to see what he was going to do here with this movie here. And I was really surprised to see, like, who was going to be in this movie here. Like, this movie has a big cast of well-known actors here. Like, you've got Henry Cavill, Bryce Dallas Howard, Sam Rockwell, Ariana DeBose, John Cena, Bryan Cranston, Lipa, Catherine O'Hara, and of course Samuel Jackson. So I was really excited to see what all these actors were going to do here with this new Matthew Vaughan movie here. And once I saw the trailers for this film, I just immediately got really hyped for the film. And this film came out just a few weeks ago, which it came out on the 2nd of February, and I did see this film on opening day in a really big screening, although there wasn't that many people in, unfortunately. But after watching this whole movie here, unfortunately, I wouldn't say this is the next new great, like, Matthew Vaughan film he has made here in recent years here, because I found this film to be an unfortunate disappointment here. But I wouldn't necessarily say this film was awful. I thought this film was just overall just decent here. While for the overall concept of the film here, it is kind of unique for what Matthew Vaughan was able to showcase in this movie here and all that, but it's just the overall storytelling here for this movie here I kind of felt was convoluted here, because there are times where the film tries to be smart, and there are times where the film is trying to be, like, silly and dumb and all that, but for when the movie tries to do all that here, I kind of felt all that bit pretty distracting here as I was watching the film here and all that. And there are times where the film does tend to showcase some predictable moments that we've seen before in the past, like these kind of movies, and this film does tend to have some similarities that we've seen before in the past, like these kind of films and all that. Like this film to me, it kind of feels like The Lost City, but in espionage style and all that. That's the way I can describe what this whole film is kind of like here and all that. And this film has twists and turns and all that, which there are so many of them in this movie. And when it came to those moments, they just came out absolutely nowhere and all that. And there were times where they were, like, unpredictable and all that. And well, there were a few times where they were kind of predictable and all that. Like, I was like, yeah, I could tell, like, what's going to happen here and all that as I was watching this movie here. And the film, I kind of felt, was a bit overlong here, because it is 2 hours and 19 minutes. And I kind of wished a few minutes of this film could have been shaved off a little bit and all that as I was watching the film and all that. And as for the overall direction by Matthew Vaughan, it is pretty well stylized in terms of the way the film looks and all that. And when it comes to the action scenes, they're all enjoyable to watch here, even though they're not, like, bloody violent like what he did before with Kick-Ass and the Kingsman movies or anything like that, because this is a PG-13 spy action comedy and all that. But still, though, the action for the most part aren't too bad here. And there are times where the film does use a bit of visuals and all that, which there are times where the visuals are not too bad, but there are times where the visuals can be very distracting and all that. And they were very distracting for me as I was watching the film and all that. And as for, like, the cast who in the film here, like the acting in the film, The actors did were overall pretty good, yeah, pretty fun for the most part here. Like Henry Cavill, Bryce Dallas Howard, Sam Rockwell, John Cena, Ariana DeBose, Catherine O'Hara, Lipa, Bryan Cranston, and Samuel Jackson. They all are really good and yeah, pretty fun for the most part, yeah, for their performances here. But overall, in the end, guys, Argylle, yeah, unfortunately, I was a bit disappointed with this movie here. But I wouldn't necessarily say this movie was awful or anything like that. I just thought this was overall just another decent spy action comedy film here and all of that. But if you're a fan of like these kind of movies, or you're a fan of like any of the cast, or if you're a fan of like the director Matthew Vaughan, I can definitely say this would definitely be a good popcorn treat for yourselves here. So that's pretty much all I have to say about Argylle. I'm going to give Argylle 3 out of 5. Yeah, like I said before, I thought this was just overall a decent spy action comedy film here, and despite having a few issues I did have with this movie here, I certainly did not have a terrible time while I was watching this film on the big screen here. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching my ACAF for a Soul review on Argylle, and let me know what you think of this movie if you have seen this already, or if you just recently checked this out. Did you have loads of fun with this, or were you very disappointed with this? As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and this has been Vaughan's Media Corner signing off.